All right, let's dive right into one of the biggest challenges for anyone dreaming of joining Pakistan's civil services, the English essay. For so many brilliant candidates, this one paper becomes the make or break moment, often after a whole year of nonstop prep. So today, we're going to figure out why it's such a massive hurdle, and more importantly, how you can be one of the few who clear it.
Just look at this number, 6%. And no, that's not a typo. In the PMS 2022 exam in Punjab, that was the passing rate for the English essay. This one number tells a huge story, a story of a crisis that hits thousands of really smart, dedicated people every single year. The big question is, why? What is going on here?
So, here's how we're going to break it all down in this explainer. First, we'll dig into that 6% number and see what it really means. Then, we're going straight to the source. We're going to look at what the examiners themselves have to say. Once we've got a handle on the problem, we'll expose what I think is the root cause, the rote memorization trap. And finally, we'll lay out a clear, actionable blueprint for success.
Okay, let's start with that shocking 6% figure. It's really easy to just look at that and think, oh, that must have been a fluke, a one-time thing. But the data shows it's not an anomaly. It's actually a symptom of a much, much deeper issue with how this particular exam is being tackled.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the contrast here. For the other required subjects in the very same exam, the pass rates are dramatically different. You've got English Persists at 56%, not bad. Pakistan Affairs at 76%, pretty good. And Islamiyat, a staggering 99%. So what's the deal with the English essay? Why is it this brutal filter when other subjects are not? And that brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. People spend at least a full year, sometimes even longer, studying like crazy. They've got the knowledge, they've got the drive. So why does it all come crashing down on this one single paper? Well, let's get some answers. To really get to the truth, we don't have to guess. The Federal Public Service Commission actually publishes these super detailed examiner reports. These reports are like a direct window into the minds of the people who are grading your papers. They tell us exactly what they're seeing, and honestly, they are not happy. Take a look at this quote right from the 2016 report. Dismal and highly unsatisfactory. I mean, wow, they are not mincing words. The examiners are saying that ideas are all over the place, there's no organization, and there's a real lack of logical thinking or solid facts. And this quote, it just nails one of the biggest problems. The examiners are tired of seeing the same memorized, pre-packaged answers again and again. You have to understand, they're not looking for a memory test. They want to see how your brain works. They're testing your ability to think for yourself. When they see an essay you've just crammed, they can spot it from a mile away. And it's not just about the big ideas. So often, the very foundation, the writing itself, is shaky. Examiners are constantly pointing out that the papers are just littered with basic mistakes in grammar, spelling, and punctuation. The 2016 report actually said there wasn't a single script that was totally error-free. Think about that. You can have the best arguments in the world, but if it's written poorly, it just falls apart. So if we pull all this feedback together, you start to see 4 really clear reasons why essays fail. First, fundamental language problems. Second, the ideas are just too shallow because they're based on crammed info. Third, there's absolutely no structure. It's just a bunch of random ideas thrown on the page. And finally, there's a total lack of creativity. People use a one-size-fits-all essay that doesn't even answer the actual question being asked. All of these issues, every single one of them, points back to one thing, what we're calling the rote memorization trap. It's this dangerous belief that you can pass this exam by just memorizing essays and paragraphs from old guidebooks and websites.
I absolutely love this metaphor from our source material. Think about your essay like it's a bridge. Your arguments, those are the pillars. Your language, that's the steel and concrete. And your structure, that's the blueprint. Now, if any one of those parts is weak, if your grammar is bad, or your arguments are flimsy, or your structure is a mess, the whole bridge is going to collapse the second the examiner tries to walk across it.
This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? The 2 paths you can take. On the left, you've got the failing strategy, using recycled material, just listing facts without any analysis, and basically treating the exam like a test of your memory. And on the right, you have the approach that works, developing original thoughts, building real arguments backed by evidence, reading high-quality material, and understanding this is a test of your brain power.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. How do you actually get from the left side of that table to the right? This isn't about studying harder, it's about studying smarter. It's about building the right skills. First things first, structure. A winning essay needs a rock-solid skeleton. You start with a sharp intro that lays out a crystal-clear thesis statement. The body is made of paragraphs where every single point is backed up with analysis and proof. And you finish strong, with a conclusion that wraps it all up and leaves the examiner with something to think about. This isn't just a nice-to-have, it's the absolute foundation.
See, success isn't about memorizing stuff. It's about mastering a set of skills. It all starts with really understanding the question. What exactly is the examiner asking for? Then, you need to be able to build a logical argument, back up every claim you make, and stay on topic. And of course, all of this has to be presented with mature language and perfect grammar. These are the tools of an officer, not just a clerk. So how do you actually build these skills? Here are some real, actionable strategies. You need to be reading editorials from quality papers like Dawn every single day. Practice writing a full-timed essay every week. You gotta build that mental muscle. Find a good mentor who can give you honest feedback. And please, use past papers to see the patterns, not to memorize the answers. Focus on understanding the concepts so you can handle any topic they throw at you. I want to leave you with this one last question to really think about. The whole system of rote memorization is basically training you to be a scribe, someone who just copies and repeats information. But the CSS exam is designed to find officers, people who can analyze, argue, and communicate with absolute clarity. The way you prepare should reflect the job you're trying to get. Thank you for watching.